Most nail techs think dual forms are only for adding length, but today I'm going to show you how they can make a refill faster, cleaner, and much more efficient. Prep is everything, especially when removing old product. Let's do this together. The right bit works faster and protects the natural nail. There are a lot of different bits, different grits and materials. For this step, I'm using a coarse carbide bit from KMIZ to remove the bulk quickly. I've marked the areas I'm going to remove, so you can follow along easily. I'll show you exactly how to work on each one. For every area, it's important to know which part of the bit you're using. First, the center. And for this, I'm using the middle part of the bit. Keep your pressure at 0. If you feel like you need pressure, or the bit starts catching, it's usually a sign the bit is low quality or dull. Keep your movement in one direction. My E-file is set to forward at around 20 to 22,000 RPM. Next, the left side wall. If you're left-handed, everything is reversed here. I'm using about 1/3 of the tip of the bit, still with 0 pressure. This is exactly why I prefer a tapered bit. That narrow tip makes it much easier to clean the sidewall. Next, the right side wall, with a small difference. Here, I'm using the lower third of the bit, the thicker part, and my movement is diagonal. If the nails are short, you can skip this step. Also, keep in mind there's always less product in the sidewalls than in the center. Next, I'm using the first third of the bit, the tip area. The difference here is the hand position. I adjust my hand and move in the opposite direction. Now the most important step, the one that makes the dual form application come out correctly. You want the surface completely smooth and even. No bumps, no uneven areas. Remove about 90% of the previous product. No more, no less, and slightly shorten the length. Next is manicure and prep. I'm not showing it here. You can find it in the playlist. Just one tip, lightly etch the cuticle area to prevent lifting. Now it's time to choose the right dual form based on the natural nail, shape, and length. I have more detailed videos on this, so make sure to check those out. The markings on the form are a little different here. You don't need to mark the sidewall growth points. Just mark your desired length and the natural nail length underneath. That's enough. Placing the product in the form is a little different here. For a full set, we usually work in 3 steps. But here, just focus on 2 things. First, keep the product slightly away from the cuticle, about 2 millimeters. Second, you don't need to fill all the way to your marked length. Just bring it close to the natural nail length underneath. Now let's place the dual form. Everything is mostly the same, hand angle and positioning, with one key difference. The pressure isn't just at the cuticle, it's lightly distributed across the nail. As you bring the form down, apply slight pressure to the surface. That's why we left space from the cuticle and didn't fill to full length. It helps the product spread evenly. If not, it can overflow from the sides, and too little product is an even bigger issue. So the amount needs to be balanced. You'll get the feel with practice. Check the sidewalls and cuticle area, even if nothing has flooded. Go over them once with a manicure bit. It helps secure the work and prevent lifting. As you saw, I used a stiletto dual form from Imenka. With this type, you can create almond, ballerina, or stiletto, especially on longer lengths. With minimal filing, I'm shaping it into an almond. I've shown this in detail before, and I'm following the same steps here. For this length, make sure to buff the surface before applying top coat. Matte or gel polish. It creates a matte base so the product doesn't slip and the finish stays smooth. The underside is still natural, so no filing needed. Just thin the free edge for almond. About 0.5 millimeter is perfect. Now I'm creating a silky cat eye design. I'll walk you through the key tips for working with magnets and this type of gel. First, shake it well for 10 to 15 seconds before applying. The magnetic particles settle at the bottom, especially if it hasn't been used recently. Second, don't apply too much. A thin layer is enough. If your base is already covered, there's no need for extra layers. Third, choose high-quality brands. The pigment and consistency matter, not too sheer, not too thick. Fourth, use a strong, larger magnet. Older ones don't work well with newer gel formulas. Now let me show you how to create that shine before shaping the final effect. Move the magnet a few times, right, up and down, then left. This helps activate the particles before you create the design. For some designs, like a French line, cure it right away without moving the magnet. Otherwise, the design can shift. Working with a magnet isn't difficult. It just takes a bit of practice. Once you get used to it, creating different designs becomes easy. This technique is called the 3D effect. It's simple. Just build your layers with a clear plan. Make sure each layer is fully cured before the next. Visually, it works best on longer nails. On shorter nails, it can make them look bulkier and shorter. This technique gives you flexibility in the final look. You can use a regular top coat for shine, or go matte, like I'm doing here, and add extra detail. After the matte top coat, I'm using a rubber top coat. It's a thicker top coat, almost like builder gel. It's usually used on natural nails and can even build a slight apex. I'm using it here to add dimension to the lines. Since it doesn't have a sticky layer, you can apply chrome powder easily. Important tip: always cleanse the surface before using chrome, even here, after the matte top coat. Wipe the nail with alcohol or cleanser, otherwise the chrome will stick, and you won't be able to clean it properly. This is one of the easiest ways to get a clean, consistent refill with dual forms. If you want to really understand structure and form selection, check out my other videos. I break everything down step by step.